For those of you who don't know me or who are new to Fictionary, I'm Christina Stanley and I am the CEO and co-founder of Fictionary. And you know how I'd love to have guest speakers in here. So today we've got Emma Boyer, and Emma is going to talk to us about ebooks and promotions on how to boost your books, which is very exciting. Emma's got a tremendous background. So she has been, well, she's here from Written Word Media today. That's her formal thing, but she's been in the book publishing industry for a long time. So she knows a ton of this stuff. And this is the thing that I liked about reading her blogs or her bio is she's very interested in the potential at the intersection of tech, Fictionary, and the publishing world, and is passionate about helping authors find audiences and audiences find their book. So how is that not a perfect fit for Fictionary? As somebody coming in, I see Devon nodding her head like, that's who we are. Um, She's overeducated with an MA and a BA, but that's okay. That's all good. So she's going to bring that all in here. And I mean, okay, let's face it. This is a group of high achievers. Everybody's trying to do something hard, like write a novel, which I think when we first start, we think, haha, how hard is that? Till you actually try and do it. So we all know it's really difficult. So with that, I'm going to turn you over to Emma. We're going to do questions at the end. So get your questions ready and throw them in the chat. I'll manage the questions at the end. And Emma is going to teach us everything we need to know, right?
I hope so. Thanks, Christina. Hi, everybody. It's really nice to be here. As Christina mentioned, I'm going to talk about ebook promos and how they can kind of play into your marketing strategy. Feel free to pop questions in as we go, so you don't forget them. But yeah, as Christina said, we will definitely try to get them at the end, and I'll be sure to kind of leave time for them. So I'm going to share my screen. Can everybody see that? A little thumbs up if you can.
Yep, we can. Perfect.
Okay. So, what we're going to talk about today is maximizing ebook promos as part of your marketing strategy. So, we're going to start from the very basics, kind of what is an ebook promo, why should you do it, and then we're going to get a little bit more to the 300 level course about kind of how you can leverage them and kind of best practices. So the goal with ebook promos and kind of with all book marketing is to boost visibility of you and your book, to reach new readers and to drive sales. So today, what we're going to talk about is like I said, we're going to talk about the what and why of ebook promos. What is it? Why should you do it? Best practices for timing and pricing. I always like to try to give people like really concrete advice and strategies, because I think so often you walk away from these things with like the motivation, all the motivation in the world, but then you still don't exactly know how. So I would like to I'd like to leave you with how as well. And then kind of talking a little bit on a more large scale about integrating promotions with your overall marketing strategy. So I think this, wherever you are in the publishing process, I know a lot of you may not be like to this point in your publishing process with every single title yet, but I think it's really good to be kind of thinking about this stuff and positioning at any phase in a book or author's life cycle. Okay, so what is an ebook promo? To start out with, table stakes, what's an ebook promo? So an ebook promo is a strategic price reduction on the ebook format of your book. So this does not have to stretch to if your book exists in paperback, hardcover, audio, it doesn't have to extend to any of those. We're just talking about the ebook version. So whether that's Kindle, whether that's Kobo, whatever that might be. And it's a strategic price reduction to attract readers and drive sales. So it can be time limited. So I say can be because some authors like to kind of put their book on sale and it's 99 cents for a limited time. Some authors like to leave their book at 99 cents all the time and then just promote it occasionally. So the actual price reduction does not have to be time limited, but it can be. It can be discount or free, which we'll talk a little bit about more. We'll talk a little bit more about as we kind of go forward. The pros and cons of making your ebook discounted or making it free. And these ebook promos are most effective when they're included in a newsletter. So at Written Word Media, we have 5 different newsletters, and I've included a screenshot here of one of them, which is Bargain Booksy. And Bargain Booksy only includes titles that are between 99 cents and 4.99 on the day that we're sending this promotion. And we'll talk a little bit more about kind of how this works, but I definitely think, an ebook promo or a strategic down pricing doesn't work particularly well in a vacuum. You usually need the help of a newsletter or, some way to amplify the ebook promo that you're doing. So, how ebook promos work is that readers opt into genres, prices, and devices that they're interested in. So, what that might look like is Christina might be a romance reader. She might come to our Red Feather Romance page and say, I only want historical romance. I only want it to be free, and I only want it on my Kindle. And those 3 preferences are things that she opts into. And then if you, Donna, for example, are a historical romance writer and you were to buy a promo from us, then on a given day, let's say Thursday, and your book is free and it is historical fiction and it's available on a Kindle, then Christina is going to get your book that day. So it's a high intent match. So that means what that means is just that the audience is already very likely to want the book because we're giving them exactly what they've said they wanted. Somebody who's a historical romance reader, we're not giving business titles to, for example. We really only give people things that they've opted into. Um, so who should run a price promotion? And the answer to that is everyone. Everyone will be participating. Any author should be thinking about ways to include price promotions in their marketing briefcase. So there are a lot of kind of you'll hear a lot of chatter about like who should do this and it's only good for series, and I think that that's just not true. Everyone should absolutely think about ways to leverage price promotions at least once, but authors who need reviews or ratings, this is like not something that people always think about when they're thinking about price promotions, but if you think about it, if you're giving or selling your book out to thousands of readers on one day, that's a really good way to get reviews for your book, or ratings for your book on retailers. Anyone who has a backlist. So if you have books that you wrote 20 years ago that, like you maybe just got the rights back to, or if you just, it's books that you wrote a couple years ago and you haven't really thought too much about marketing. This is a really easy, low cost way to start to do some marketing and get some momentum going. Authors who have series, this is kind of this is the use case I think we hear the most about when we're thinking about ebook promos, authors who have series, because the strategy of putting the first book in the series on sale or making it free really does encourage read through of the entire series. So, it's a way to hook readers early, it's a way to increase revenue, all of the above. Also, authors who want to collect first-party data from their readers. So authors who may have a link in the back of their ebook to their website where readers can sign up for their newsletter, and that at the end, it's a little bit of a roundabout way, but at the end of the ebook promo you end up not only with downloads of your book, but you also have emails of readers who have opted into your email list. Um, so ebook promos do a lot of things, and they're pretty simple and they're pretty low cost, as I just mentioned, but they help you build buzz around your book and author brand. So if you are a person who, especially if you're a new author, there's often kind of this barrier to entry, almost like an unknown name bias. Like, well, if people don't know me, why would they read my book, right? And that's a really hard challenge, right? But ebook promos are a really good way to get around that because people are very willing to take a chance on a book that's 99 cents or that's free. And then once they know you and they like you, then you no longer have that unknown name bias. You're getting more reviews, all of that. It also improves the algorithm placement on retailers. So if, for example, I'm sending, 6,000 readers to your book, if it's in one of our newsletters or any ebook newsletter, and we're sending 6,000 readers to your book on Amazon, for example, the Amazon algorithm says, oh, wait, hey, I should pay attention to this book because all of these people are clicking and going to this page. And once the algorithm thinks that it's something worth paying attention to, it will surface your book higher in search results. It will surface it to people who are looking at similar items. Um, that it doesn't say this here, but I very like super frequently our authors who are using our ebook promos go to number one in their category in the Kindle store, or at least in the top 10. So that's another, really good upside of this. Gain reviews, which we already talked about, gain readers. So whether you get there, whether you decide you're going to collect their first party data or not, if you are all working so hard on your books, right? You're working so hard on the craft of your book, and like at the end of the day, I hope you're really proud of it. So this, what we're doing here is just opening the door for readers to find your book, and then letting your book do the work of getting you loyal readers who will kind of stick with you throughout your author career. And then, of course, book sales. So I know it sometimes sounds a little counterintuitive, but actually, ebook promos will absolutely help you sell your books. Okay. So now we're going to move on to pricing strategies. And Rob Lowe and I are thinking about free or discounted. And this is a question that I think, I have been working in publishing for a long time, and I think this question kind of comes up frequently. And it's cyclical. Sometimes people are like, a free is the only way to go, and sometimes people are like, don't, your work is worth something, you shouldn't give it away for free. There's always loud voices positing opinions about this. But the truth is that there are pros and cons to both strategies here when you're thinking about ebook promos. um, so some of the pros of a free ebook promo, which is just when you give your book away for free on the one day, and then we put that in our newsletter, is that you get maximum visibility. So you're going to get a lot more downloads when your book is free than you would if you are charging money for it. Even any money, even $1. That's enough of a barrier that we do see kind of a stark difference that people are much more likely to download something for free than they are to pay for it. So because of that, because you're going to see, in the high hundreds, thousands of downloads, you're going to see more reviews on a free ebook download. Now, I will caveat that by saying, oftentimes the reviews on free promos don't come immediately. And I think that's because, I don't know this for sure, but I think that's because readers who tend to download a lot of ebooks kind of have a big TBR pile. They have a lot of free ebooks waiting for them on their e-reader. So it takes them a while to get through them and get to your book. So usually I think, whereas you might be, oh, well, I ran this promotion a month ago and I still don't have any reviews, that doesn't mean like don't despair. That doesn't mean you won't have them. It just means that it might take a while for them to come through. Um, so free promos I think are better for series and series read through. So people would probably argue with me about this, but I think that if you have a book series of at least 3 books, the it's better to occasionally run a free promotion and not down price the books 2 and 3 in this series. I think you'll make more money. I think you'll earn more loyalty. You'll hook readers. What you're doing is essentially giving more readers a chance to kind of get in the gate of your series, and thinking about it that way, I think is really helpful. The other thing, thinking about here is page reads. So this is if you have a book that's enrolled in Kindle Unlimited, you get paid by the page. And so a lot of authors tend to see a very big increase in page reads when they run a promo. So they tend to see more income that way. The 99 cents to 4.99 range is kind of more of a balance of profit and downloads. So you'll see a little bit of you'll definitely see fewer downloads than you would if it were free. Um, but people are paying you for the book, so it is like more possible that you'll see an ROI, like an immediate ROI. So if you paid, I don't know, $35 for a promotion, you might make that back in book sales. Um, and another sort of thing to think about with this pricing strategy is that readers have skin in the game. And what I mean by that is there is this sense that maybe if people have paid for something, even if it's just $1, that they are more likely to give it the time of day, right? Like they're more likely to prioritize it in their reading list. They're more likely to sit down and write a review. So that's something to consider. Again, there are going to be fewer of them, but they might be more engaged, more likely to write a review. It can absolutely work better for nonfiction titles. For whatever reason, the nonfiction market tends to bear pr higher prices across the board, and that continues to be true right down to ebook promos. So if you've written a memoir, if you've written a how-to, if you've written self-help, something like that, these books and also they're like less likely to be in series too. But I think for nonfiction titles, I think having the books not free is the right way to go. And then again, actually, you'll see additional page reads here. So one thing that I just thought was interesting at Written Word Media, we do an author survey every year. This year we surveyed about 2,000 indie authors, and we ask them a lot of, and these authors kind of run the gamut. Like what we're trying to get out of this, I'll send the link to our blog post about it. It's really interesting. But what we're trying to do is kind of figure out like what are the things that make really successful authors successful? Are there habits that they're doing that like everyone else can learn from? But anyway, we also obviously asked them about promotion since that's what we do as a company. And one like interesting tidbit I thought was that well over half of the respondents to our survey price their least expensive book at 99 cents or free during promotions. So these are these are really successful authors for the most part. But the what this tells me is that significantly downpricing your ebook, especially first in series, is still it's the go-to strategy for most authors. This is what, whether you decide 99 cents is for you or free is for you, significantly downloading or downpricing the book on the day of an ebook promo is what you should do. And my hot take on this is, except in very rare cases, lower prices work better. So we see authors all the time who want to run a price promo on a book, and they want it to be priced at the ebook to be priced at $4.99. because they think that's their best chance of making their money back. And I'm here to tell you that that is not true. The people are much more likely to spend 99 cents on a book from an author that they don't know that like looks pretty good than they are to spend 4.99. So if you decide that you'd like to downprice your ebook and run an ebook promo, I strongly encourage you to just go for the 99 cents. Like you're doing the promotion, you want all of the benefits of that. Go for the 99 cents. Timing best practices. So people, I chat with authors all the time about, like, well, how often should I run a price promotion? When works the best? And like the real answer is that you have to figure out your own cadence, like what works for your budget, what works for your titles, what works for your goals. And all of that sort of the answer kind of trickles down from those things because if your goal is really to grow readership or your goal is to really do series read through, then you're probably going to do ebook promos more often. If you just want to get some reviews and get your name out there and you have a low budget, then maybe you're going to do this every 6 months or every year, right? It really kind of depends on all of those things. We don't because with our brands, the email brands that we have, we are constantly building our audience lists. We don't even let you promote a book more frequently than once every 30 days. We just feel like we want the promotion to be as successful as it possibly can be for you. And if an audience has just seen a book 2 weeks ago, it's probably not going to be that successful. But we are constantly growing our audiences. So we feel, really good about saying that every 90 days is a good starting point. So thinking about if you have one book, if you have three books, if you don't have a giant backlist is what I'm saying. Every 90 days is a pretty good starting point to think about promoting an individual book or an individual series. From there, you're going to tweak it, right? Depending on how well it works, how well it doesn't work. That you'll see kind of all of those things. Um, but yeah, I think the challenge here, when I talk about finding your own cadence, one thing that I think is really important when you're thinking about book marketing in general is that um, it's really helpful to think about book marketing as a flywheel. And once you get it going, it kind of hums on its own, right? It might slow down. You might have to juice it a little with an ebook promo. You might have to do something to spin the wheel. It doesn't have to be an ebook promo. It might be an email to your newsletter. It might be, like a variety of things. But it the flywheel isn't going to turn if you never do anything. And it is a lot harder to start a stopped flywheel than it is to push one that's already going a little bit, if that makes sense. So once you are to the point where you're marketing your books, I really, really encourage you to find a cadence that works for you and kind of keep things moving as much as you can. And again, this is not going to be the same for everyone. But thinking about organizing things kind of quarterly is a good starting point. And I feel like the concentrated promos or concentrated marketing efforts are better, sorry, excuse me, are better than really spread out. So what I mean by that, and we'll talk through promo stacks in just a second, but I was chatting with an author last week at a conference, and he was saying, I'm doing something all the time, and it doesn't feel like any of it is making a difference. And um, what he meant by that was he was, just like putting a post on Facebook because he kind of thought he should. He was running a promo, lots of different, very small promos, like once every few weeks. He was doing newsletter swaps. He was running ads, but he wasn't doing any of it in kind of a strategic or concentrated way. He was just doing it when he thought of it. It was just kind of constantly like dripping out. And I think that concentrated effort, because of all the things we talked about with ebook promos, because they say, "Hey, algorithm, pay attention," because they get readers out there looking at you. I think it is better. I think, if you have absolutely no idea where to start, every 90 days, say, "I'm going to do a week of marketing. I'm gonna like really push my book. I'm gonna do a number of ebook promos. I'm gonna run Facebook ads at the same time. I'm gonna use my newsletter to tell people about it. Which we'll talk about again in a minute. But I think, if I think that is much more powerful than doing like really low impact things like just occasionally when you think of it. Just be strategic and be intentional is what I would tell you to do. Um, so one thing that I wanted to just kind of talk about is at Written Word Media, we like really believe in the power of this. So we have something called promo stacks, and this is born out of authors for a long time have been doing ebook promo stacks on their own. So they've been reaching out to a number of different email newsletters and kind of building their own stack because they know they'll have 5 free days or whatever. So they want to really make the most of it. So what we did a couple of years ago is we've partnered with a number of other email newsletters. We have a number of partner newsletters in various genres, and most of them are bookish, but not all of them. We recently partnered with Retire Hub, which is an ebook news or which is an email, not ebook actually, email newsletter for retirees. And so one of the things we do is we include a Retire Hub placement in some of these ebook promo stacks. And what you can do is you can if you just want to not think about it, you can come to Too Much and you don't have to do you can come to Written Word Media, you can look at our promo stacks and you can say, okay, that every 90 days number, I'm going to grab a promo stack and my book's going to be promoted to all of these audiences at once over 5 days, over 3 days, whatever your preference is or your budget is. And all you have to do is put in your link and pick the date that it starts, and we'll kind of handle the rest. So this is a very easy way to, do a pretty comprehensive marketing push without having to do very much work. Okay, so then how do you measure success of an ebook promo? I think this is really important for everything. At Written Word Media, we care a lot about data. We want to make sure stuff actually works. So how to know if you have how if you've had a good ebook promotion or a good ebook promo stack? So the first and kind of most obvious is data. So we'll send you the clicks if you ask us for how many people clicked on my book in the newsletter. How many sales did you get? That you should be able to tell. How many page reads did you get? That you should be able to tell. Like I said, measuring reviews. How many more 5-star reviews do you have than you did 6 months ago? Amazon rankings or any retailer rankings, keep an eye on those. Series read through, have your other title, and this is doesn't have to just be series. If you've written other books too that are standalones, pay attention to if your ebook promotion has increased read through on some of your other titles. Again, this might be a longer tail thing, but if a reader finds you and loves you and then proceeds to read the rest of your work, then this was a good investment, right? And then there's online chatter. If you don't already, you should set up a Google alert for yourself, and your name and your book title. And anytime someone's, oh, I got this great book on sale, anytime somebody just happens to put it on Instagram or on Blue Sky or X or whatever, you will, that is another thing that you can measure. Like this doesn't happen a ton, but if you start to see some mentions of it, then you'll know that people are finding it. Okay, so I've talked a lot about ebook promos and kind of the brass tacks and nuts and bolts. But I want to be really clear that ebook promos are a crucial piece of the puzzle, but they're not the whole puzzle, right? They are just kind of one piece. So you probably already know about a lot of other great marketing things. You may already be doing them, kind of depending on where you are in your publishing journey. Um, but you're probably already doing these things, and we'll talk in a minute about how these things can actually work really well with a promo. So they don't so you're never really doing anything in a vacuum. Um, and these are just some of the things that you can and should do. I just want to be like, this isn't meant to be exhaustive, but even things that are not here, like your metadata or like your keywords or your description or, even things that are marketing on that kind of granular level, kind of play into this whole marketing puzzle. Um, Okay, so leveraging your ebook promos. So once you have done an ebook promo, so once Donna has run her ebook promotion and Christina has purchased her book and she has seen a huge spike in sales and everything is wonderful, um, what can she do with that? Like it's just one day and then it's over. Well, no, it doesn't have to be over. So the thing, for a lot of years, I was a book publicist. I worked in traditional publishing, and I was a book publicist. And one thing I used to always say to authors is that every single book has one newsworthy thing in common, and that's that it's published, right? And after that, you have to get a little more creative. So, this is a way, like right here is a ready-made thing for you to talk about. This is a thing for you to talk to your readers about. This is a thing for you to talk to potential readers about. Everybody loves a sale. We're already seeing tons of Black Friday sales and pre-holiday sales. And that's stuff to talk about. And then you see listicles like, here are the best things to buy on Black Friday, right? So all of that is actually the same concept. This is you as an author who has an author business doing the same thing. You're putting an item on sale, essentially, and then you're telling the world about it. It's in a newsletter. And so here are some things that you can do. So you can reach out to your readers. So if you have a newsletter, if you have an author newsletter and you have an email list, and you're emailing folks, letting them know about what you're doing, about what you're writing, about what's coming out next. A really great thing to do is say, oh, hey, my book's on sale for 99 cents today. Grab it, forward this email to your friends. If they don't have it already, here's a chance for them to get it for a great deal. Same thing with social posts. If you're a person who is posting on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or any of the social media that you're kind of already posting on, here's another great thing to talk about. You can link right to the ebook promo and say, my book is featured today in Bargain Booksy. Grab it for 99 cents for the next 24 hours. It's time limited. It's a great thing to talk about. It engages your audience. Um, and so those are just kind of like things that you can be doing for free. Other things you can do for free are, if you're a person who updates your author website all the time, you can, feature my book is on sale today, you can get it here. If you're a person who blogs, it's another thing, you can blog about the experience. I put it on sale. It was really neat to see it go up in the rankings, and that's another way to engage folks. And then the other thing that I think this is something that authors don't often think about, but I think they should, is the that you can leverage your sale in other marketing media. So if you are running Facebook ads, if you're running Amazon ads, and your book is on sale, if it's down priced, like why not put great new thriller on sale today, 99 cents, right? So that way you're really maximizing the reach of your down priced ebook. You changed the price, but then you're letting all of these other things do the maximizing for you. Um, And don't forget to publicize the after effects too. So I know it's not always comfortable for authors to do the whole like, look at me, like, people are not always comfortable with that. But if you did get a ton of sales, if your ranking did improve, like grab a screenshot of that number one ranking and make sure you're putting that out there in the world. Um, and that's a whole nother reason to reach out to your audience the following month. Like, look, I was number one in my category. And again, back to like metadata, you can always update your book description. Like this book was number one in self-help and how-to or whatever that might be. So, don't be shy about promoting your book's success. Like you have worked hard to create your book's success. You've worked hard to create your book, but also if you're like running an ebook promo and you're working hard to create its success, so you should absolutely maximize that, capitalize on it as much as you possibly can. Okay, so. That's so I wanted to just talk really quickly about written word media and some of the brands that we do feature ebook promos on. So the ones that we are the most well known for are Free Booksy and Bargain Booksy. You already saw an example from Bargain Booksy, but Free Booksy is, as the name suggests, all the books in Free Booksy are free on the day that the promotions go out or that the email goes out. It goes out 365 days a year. I have a wonderful team of people who can help you if you have questions, if you want to book a promotion, you can write just to info@writtenwordmedia.com. I can put that in the chat too. And they're happy to help. But if your book is free, you want to run a free promo, we have a really, really big audience. The aggregate audience across all five of these brands is about 2 million readers. So, not, I want to be really clear to say, like, that's not going to be true for every single genre. Like we talked at the beginning about like a high intent match. So, a literary fiction title that's $4.99 is going to have a different audience than a steamy romance title that's free, right? The audience reach is going to be different, but we have all of those reaches listed on our website, so you can see exactly how many people are being targeted with your book when you promote it. Bargain Booksy is the same idea, all genres, but between 99 cents and $4.99. Red Feather Romance is our romance specific email newsletter. We have lots and lots of romance readers, and things are broken down by subgenre on Red Feather Romance. So if you are a romance author, this is a really good one for you to check out. New in Books. This is a dedicated book launch ebook promo site. So if you have a brand new title, this site only features books that have been released in the last 90 days. And it's got a kind of a good launch package with it. It sets you up well to go out in the world with a brand new book. It includes some other things like an ad and author Q&A and some good collateral for you to use. And then we do also have an audiobook brand. This presentation was really centered on ebook promos, but we do actually feature audiobooks too. So if you are considering making an audiobook, if you have an audiobook, there are not actually a great many options for promoting audiobooks out in the world. But we do have a great brand called Audio Thicket, which is the same idea, newsletters where people have opted in to find out about new audiobooks in given genre, not even new, but audiobooks in given genres at specific price points. So definitely feel free to check those out. The QR code will take you right to our website, or it's just writtenwordmedia.com, which I'm happy to share. And I think that's it. So I have lots of time for questions, and I will stop sharing unless anyone needs to see this, and I'm happy to jump into whatever questions you guys have.
Thank you, Emma. Look, I know where to write notes. I wrote all my notes on a napkin. Oh, that was great. So we'll just start at the top. The first one's not a question, but it's a comment I would like to read, and it's by Randall, and it says, I used written word to promo an ebook, and it went to #1 on Amazon.
Yay, love that.
Hey, very exciting. And then the question to Randall is, did you take screenshots of that? And did you share that around as your after number one promo? And if you didn't, you can still do it. Time is not run out. All right, then we have Janet. Janet says, have you seen any correlation between promos and an author's work showing up on the free library or other sites that steal work?
That is an excellent question. And not something that I've thought a ton about, but no, I haven't heard that at all. I talk to authors all the time who use our services and are super savvy. So I feel like my inclination is that I would have heard that, but that's a great question. I don't think so, and I think if that's something you're worried about, you could. Well, A, you could not run a free promo. You could run a 99-cent promo. Or B, if it's time limited, I feel like you're probably pretty safe. A lot of authors still have titles that are perma-free. So, a lot of authors, especially first in series, just have titles that are perma-free and are essentially like lead magnets to get people into their series. So, I don't know that since a lot of the titles we feature on FreeBooksy are really just free for one day, just 24 hours, I think it would be like a lot of management for somebody to try to steal I mean, it just feels like really hard to me logistically. So, no, I haven't heard that. That's a great question though, Janet, and I'll keep an eye on it.
So, Janet, I'll just add a little personal story to that. When, I don't know, I'm going to say 5 or 6 years ago. So, I kept getting emails of free copies of my book to me that weren't up for free at anywhere. So they're stolen in other ways. And the advice I got from my publisher at the time, because I contacted them and said, I got this email, someone stole my book and they're trying to get me to take it for free. And their advice was just ignore it. If you put something out there, don't take anything from this site. They're not legit. They just pop up somewhere else. And so there is, of course, theft around, and it's something as authors we all have to deal with. And I don't know that it ever hurt me really in the long run. It's really annoying when someone's trying to give you a free copy of your own book, but that's just kind of there that and the other thing my publisher told me is that when people download from the free sites, the reason they're there is they're putting malware into people's computers. And so they're getting an extra gift along with that book. So you can know that maybe they got your book, but they also got a gift that wasn't so nice on their computer. So, it's a thing that's out there that we all have to deal with. And my personal philosophy is I just keep moving forward. I can't control what other people do. And so, I like to use all of these services and do all of these things because in the long run, it's better for me as an author. So that's just my take on that. Christoforo says, this is for indie only, correct? Or can this be applied to traditional publishing or only with their permission?
Yeah, great question. So we definitely mostly have indie author customers, but we have a lots of traditionally published author customers too, and we work directly with publishers. So this is absolutely for everyone. The one thing I'll say about that is it can be a little bit trickier if you are an author and you want to run a promo and you are traditionally published. Depending on who controls the price on your book, it can be tricky. Because you do often need the publisher's help to actually change the price in the Onyx feed to push to retailers, or however that might be. But no, we absolutely accept traditionally published titles. It just takes a little bit more coordination on your end to make sure the price is right.
Okay, interesting. So Christopher also says, what are the websites to start this process of promoting my book for free?
Oh yeah, great question. I would say the easiest thing to do is to start at writtenwordmedia.com. And then you'll see a link that says promote and you can find FreeBooksy right there. That's the easiest way. You can also Google FreeBooksy if you want to like get a sense for what books are featured there on a given day. There's also information for authors there if that's something you're interested in taking a look at. But yeah, I think that's the best thing to do. And on our Written Word Media blog, we have a number of resources about, how to make your book free, why you might want to make your book free, all that good stuff.
Okay, terrific. Randall says, is written word, oh, this just jumped, is written word willing to consider separating the category of religion slash spirituality into others? I'm a Christian author on written word email lists. The emails I receive with books in the super category do not often appeal to a Christian audience. It makes me wonder what the size of the audience is that actually is interested in Christian nonfiction. Thank you.
It's a great question. I think we would consider it, Randall. The we one thing that we always balance at Written Word Media is authors always ask us to be more and more niche with our genres, right? And that is amazing, and we want to have a high intent match. But we also want you to be able to find readers who might cross over into your book space, or we want to be able to give you something that's valuable enough that doesn't just have the five same readers. I'm not saying Christian nonfiction has five readers, by the way. The so this is always the thing that we're balancing. I do think we're always happy to take author suggestions for genres that we might expand into. And in fact, we're in the process of doing a genre expansion right now. So yes, it's absolutely possible, but we do, believe me when I say that we do try to think about genres and subgenres in, with the framework that will make authors like the most successful. But I hear you. And if you feel like, maybe not all the books are exactly right, then that's really good feedback, and my team's always happy to have it.
Thank you. So let's just continue on the genre thing for a minute. Do you see that there's some genres, like is there a top three genres that people are really interested in reading right now?
Yes. So thriller, steamy romance, and mystery or cozy mystery. Yeah, those are
Thriller,
those.
steamy romance, and cozy mystery. Okay,
Yeah,
let's just go to thriller for a second. Is that straight up thriller or is it this like psychological thrillers seem to be really all on
exactly.
the top list right now?
Yeah, exactly. I would say like a year or two ago, we were seeing more like straight up thriller, more police procedurals, but now it's absolutely the psychological thriller. We're seeing tons and tons of those. People can't seem to get enough. So yeah, that's a great
Yeah,
question.
I've noticed a trend too online when you look at like the top Goodreads mystery novels, that list, and you look through it, it's all psychological thrillers. And you think, oh, that's not actually a mystery. Come on, put that over. But there's this blending of
Mhm.
labeling books of a bunch at across genres, even though the book itself it happens to be a psychological thriller, it also gets listed as a mystery, or maybe there's a fantasy element, so it gets listed as a fantasy, I think, to maximize readership versus what the book truly is from the author's intent.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think genre it seems straightforward, but it really isn't, right? And a lot of I'm sure a lot of when you're writing your books like, well, it's a thriller, but it kind of has elements of this and it kind of has elements of this. And so when we're like trying to make those matches, sometimes it's really hard. But yeah, I think a lot of it, exactly like you said, Christina, a lot of it goes to trend, and absolutely, I think which makes sense. That's actually really smart on the part of authors, right? Even if your book is not a mystery, but mystery readers are reading it and loving it, then like, yeah, more power to you. Be go ahead, be categorized as that way. So I think it does have a lot to do with kind of what people are wanting of the moment for sure.
Yeah, and we talk a lot at Fictionary about the difference of author intent of I'm writing a fantasy, that's my genre, to how you're marketing your book, that's different. And you have to separate the two in your head of what you're actually intending to write and write your book that you want to write. But when you market it, you got to look at all the different ways you can market your book and pick the genres that fit, but might not be the primary genre.
Yes, that's absolutely right.
Terrific. Okay, so we got Christopher who says, can we also advertise on the site if we have a tabletop board game that was created by the book? Very interesting.
That's so cool. That's really, really cool. I would love to see that. But no, at the moment, we really only feature, we don't have any derivative content. It's just the book.
Yeah, that's cool though. That's neat.
Yeah, I love
Um,
that idea.
so Devon says, I'm not finding seeing fantasy romance, also referred to as romantasy, in your categories. And I thought that was a big category right now.
You are absolutely right. It is. And as of the beginning of next year, you will find it there. But right now we have paranormal romance. And as I was saying, like this is something that we're constantly like looking at and reevaluating and wanting to make a great match for. Right now we have a paranormal romance category, which I know is not like technically right for a lot of fantasy romance, but that is where authors run it now, and it does quite well. So if you're like dying to run a promo before we actually have that audience built up, that's what my advice would be.
Nice. Okay, Carol says John Truby, author of The Anatomy of Story and The Anatomy of Genre, I've read both of those, teaches that writers should write multi-genre and that the top TV series are all multi-genre. The plot line should focus on one for the ease of writing, though. Do you agree with that?
I think what you said was really astute, Christina, about the difference between the way that you craft the story and the way that you market it. And I'm much more focused on the way that you market story. So, I think you would be hard pressed to find any story in any genre fiction I'm talking about that doesn't have some element of romance, right? But that doesn't mean everything is a romance novel. So I think absolutely everything is a multi-genre story and the sometimes it can be a little tricky for authors to get out of the way they're thinking, like get out of the way they're thinking about the genre that they wrote and instead put themselves in the shoes of a reader who's looking, right? And for that, I think, you guys are the experts on ease of writing. I'm certainly not. But for ease of finding and connecting with your audience, I think it's important to think about marketing as far as like covers, as far as like categories, as far as keywords. Think about that from an audience first perspective and less from like here are the genres that I think I'm touching on in the story. Like if you think, for example, that thriller readers are going to love your book, make sure that it's packaged and marketed in a way that thriller readers are going to find it. It doesn't matter if there's romance in it, if there's, elements of urban fantasy in it. If nobody ever finds it, no one will know that, right? So you have to stand in the shoes of your audience and help them find it.
Yes, perfect. Okay, so Connie has a very interesting question. Have you noticed a trend in cover styles that sell better? For example, romance bodice ripper versus a cartoon cover.
Um, this is super genre specific, but I think like the rom-com cartoony like typeface cover, I've seen a ton of those in the last year, and I do think they're selling really well. That's usually with rom-com, usually with sweet romance. I think steamy romance, though, still like a shirtless man is the way to go.
Yep. So Alessandra Torre was on here talking a couple of months ago,
It's great.
and she said that so on her steamy romance side of books, not her psychological thriller ones, on that side of what she writes, her first book up that she published wasn't doing very well, and she had a bodice ripper cover, and then she decided blurb doesn't really match that. And so her blurb was just kind of dull and she rewrote it into a steamy blurb. And literally within hours, that book started to sell. And then overnight went crazy because the blurb, the book description matched the book cover. So it's not just about choosing your cover, it's also about matching your book description because someone sees the cover and they think steamy romance. And then they read the blurb and it reads like a cozy mystery, whatever, right? Something not together. And that was her, when I asked her the number one thing that you learned in all of this, that was her answer of matching, paying attention and matching your cover to the book description, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Like everything needs to be genre resonant and it needs to be consistent. I completely agree.
Yeah, and sometimes you just miss it. You don't see it. You're too far into your book. You just don't see it. And until you do. Okay, Lisa says, do you have a way to help new authors determine which genres they should be marketing in? Ooh, that's good.
Yes, absolutely. So we do this all the time. Feel free I have a wonderful team of 7 people who are real human beings who are answering emails and on our live chat all day, every day. If you just write into info@writtenwordmedia.com, feel free to send us a link to your book. We do this all the time. We'll take a look at your book and say like, okay, I think this would do best in this category with our audience. And they know that they're the people who are sending the emails every day and talking to readers every day. So yeah, more than happy to do that.
Fantastic. Alrighty, we're a couple of minutes out. Emma, thank you so much for this today. Super enlightening. And as always, thank you to everybody in Fictionary for asking such great questions and just bringing more to the talk than, having us go one way. So really nice. Thank you, Emma.
Oh, thank you guys. It's been a pleasure. And thanks for asking such great questions. If anyone has additional ones, always happy to answer them. Just that info at Written Word Media can get to me too.
Yes, and remember, if you put your book out in written word media and you hit one of those lists, share it in your share successes in the Fictionary community because that's the after marketing thing that Emma was talking about. And you all have a place to share your successes within Fictionary. We've got the audience there full of readers and writers, so please do share your successes when it happens to you. All right, thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Emma, it was great talking to you today, and onward we go.
Thanks, everybody.